sets the mood for the whole video. The Game Boy Advance is home to 2 distinct Metroid games, not counting the NES port of the first one. One is a groundbreaking experience that is not only one of the greatest games in the series, but possibly one of the best games in general. The other is Metroid Fusion. Now that I've thoroughly upset a handful of people, let me double back just ever so slightly. Metroid Fusion is a good game. A tough, challenging game that is the bridge between Super Metroid and Metroid Dread. Without it, Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid Dread probably wouldn't even exist. It's a beautiful game that plays well and tells an interesting story. So why did I start off so hard on this game? Well, for starters, that story I mentioned. While it's great, and it ties a lot of lingering plot threads together and confirms a lot of things about Samus, it's so front and center that it straight up stops the game and makes you read it. The doors literally lock in front of you until you listen to your computer navigator not only tell you what's happening, but also where to go and what to expect along the way. So what you're left with is a very linear game that doesn't let you stray too far off the beaten path and spoon feeds you information. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of this. Even though I was harsh in the beginning, I'm going to make very clear that I do very much enjoy this game. At the very least, I don't feel as pressured to hunt for sequence breaks or anything like that. I can just play the game and enjoy the story for what it is. So what is the story of this game anyway? Samus was protecting a research team on the surface of the planet SR-388 when she encounters a creature that's not all it seems. After dispatching the creature, a gooey bit of goo flies into Samus. Neat. This gooey goo is a parasitic organism known only as X. So the X Parasites give Samus the big sick, and everything starts to warble around like an acid trip ate another acid trip. NANI? And that's when Samus crashes into those asteroids from before. But her ship launches the escape pod at the last second, and she's recovered by the researchers. There they had to surgically remove parts of her power suit as the X had consumed large portions of it. Samus was fading fast, but luckily at the last second, a cure was cultivated from Metroid DNA. Finally, Samus has reached a status that Link could only dream of. Because Samus now has Metroid DNA, she is part Metroid. So now, she is Metroid. Not only that, but she's been fused with a Metroid. Metroid Fusion. Eat your heart out, Legend of Link. So, funny story is that a new game in the Legend of Zelda series was recently released, and it stars Zelda as the protagonist, so we finally actually have a actual Legend of Zelda game. So, anyway, so this Metroid Fusion definitely has some side effects. Samus' suit got weird. It's very, to use a term I learned from Transformers Beast Wars, techno-organic. But I actually really like it. As long as it stays blue. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. I think it looks really cool though. This is a clever way also to explain why Samus loses all her abilities in the beginning of the game. They were literally stripped from her. But one added bonus of this new suit is that despite Samus now being very squishy, literally, because the Metroid is designed to eradicate the X Parasite, Samus absorbs them when she touches them, and they restore her health and, oddly enough, missiles once she acquires them. Also, the X Parasite may have killed the researchers there and taken over all life forms aboard the station. Speaking of missiles, our computer navigator tells us we have to download missiles in order to gain the ability to use them. Neat. Next, we grab our first E-Tank just before falling into the pit where the first Core X Parasite resides, and it takes the form of Arachnus. Something of note about the bosses of this game is they use the ability that we will gain from defeating them. As you can see, it rolls around the stage, so when we defeat it, we get the Morph Ball, a series staple. I guess Samus's Chozo DNA allows her bones to rubberize when she is in this form, because otherwise that can't be very comfortable. Anyway, now she can roll through small openings as a ball, which she will be doing a lot. Next, our computer guide tells us there's something wrong in Sector 1 and we need to head there immediately. So at this point you might be wondering, why is there this scary wide-eyed normal Samus scaring the spooky dookie out of us? As it turns out, when the surgeons removed her old armor, her infected suit pieces were taken to the BSL station, where they gained life. And this we'll come to find out is known as the SAX. Huh, that's weird. In Sector 1, our computer tells us something's up with the atmospheric stabilizers and we need to go investigate. Next up, we find a Chozo statue. Hey, wait a minute. You're not a Chozo statue. It's another Core X. This one has an eyeball, and it shoots us. But after defeating it, we gain the charge beam. Then in the next room, we find our way to the final stabilizer. But our computer tells us there's more to be done. It's time in Sector 2. It's at this point Samus starts to reflect on her old commander, Adam Malkovich, and her computer reminds her of him, and she starts referring to him as such, at least in her mind. In Sector 2, Adam tells us that he's learned about the SAX, and that she's really scary and will give us the biggest spanking if we encounter her. With no chance of defeating her, we just need to run like the brave bounty hunter we are, because she has all of our old powers and should make quick work of our little jelly Metroid body. Intriguing. Now we gotta go find another data room and download bombs. I'm just not sure about downloading all these explosives. But first we need to make our way to a security room to unlock blue hatches. In other games in the series, the different colored doors are opened by different types of ammunition such as bombs, charge beams, and so on. But in this game, we have to find these security rooms to unlock them. But we finally get our morph ball bombs. We're going to be using these a lot. So many paths are hidden away behind bombable blocks like these. And another E-tank. So we find our way to the next Core X that takes the shape of...
That's a penis!
They call this Zazaby, which I'm pretty sure is a mobile suit. This thing is gross. Reminds me of those worms in Peter Jackson's King Kong, which also unlocks a core fear of mine. But as one would expect after a good pounding, it shrinks down in size and the gooey innards come out, giving us the much needed high jump, and we can also jump in ball form. Neat. Afterwards, we almost have our first run-in with the SAX. You can always tell it's close when you hear your own heartbeat, but it just leaves before we get the chance to say hi. Back in the navigation room, Adam tells us that unlocking the security doors may not have been the best idea after all, and now the SAX is running freely, terrorizing this whole station. So next we have to head to Sector 4 to undo some of her damage. Once in Sector 4, we're told to seek out the next boss, Ceres. Oh. Never mind then. Oh wait, there it is. I guess the eggs learned how to be Ceres too. But with its defeat, we regain the speed booster. Now we can run fast. Up until this point, the water in most of this sector has been electrified, but we can now lower the water levels to safely traverse through the area. Next, we head to Sector 3, the hot one. Here we get to unlock level 2 doors. This, of course, lets all the goodies in, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. We're tasked with downloading data for super missiles here, so that's what we're going to do. This room has an interesting layout. Wonder what that could mean. But at last, we download the data to get our super missiles. And immediately the ground begins to shake. Things have changed here. The ground keeps shaking as more and more doors get destroyed by something. This cannot be good. Oh, we're back in this room. With our next boss. This box robot isn't infected by an X, so we don't get to absorb anything, just have to beat him and let him go about his merry way. And he does just that. Hey, watch where you drop those things. So we give chase, but he's already escaped, and Adam tells us to go to Sector 6. But then... what's Adam up to? And who's that shady shade character he's talking with? Sector 6, Adam tells us about the Varia suit, but also cold X Parasites are in this area. And since I'm so susceptible to the cold, I need to avoid them. Only problem is, they don't want to avoid me. Hey, quit it. Stop! No! Oh, look, a missile tank. Wait, why did it grow wings? Oh, there's the real one. Oh God, a whole room of them. And they all want to put me on the couch and make me smile for the camera. Oh good, the E-Tank didn't sprout wings and fly away. I'm a bit gun shy now. Uh-oh, the Sax has returned. Better stay hidden. Oh crap, what are you doing? At least it only did like 20 damage. Man, them super missiles make a difference on those boss doors. Hey, quit downloading my armor. So this big Core X downloaded my Varia suit, and now it's bigger and got balls because of it. But that's okay. I can handle it all the same. And get my suit back.
I don't know what I expected.
I guess it's just my brain pre-programming me to believe that the Varia suit would mean I'd get my old digs back. And maybe that would have been the case if the X hadn't munched all on my download terminal. But just swapping the colors makes it ugh. Don't get me wrong, I love the design of the Fusion suit in blue, but this does not have the same appeal. At least now the blue meanies can't hurt me anymore, and they know it too. After the first few just get absorbed, the others start to run away. And now Adam is utterly amazed I got the Varia suit without his knowledge. I think this is where his mask slips a little bit, and we get to see a peek of his ulterior motives. Though he still tells me I'm too weak to take on the Sax. At least for now. Next, I have to get to Sector 5 so I can hunt down ice missiles because my Metroid DNA won't let the ice beam work properly. And the plasma beam is also here apparently. In Sector 5, I'm told that I'll have to unlock level 3 hatches and download ice missiles. Like you do. So I finally unlocked the level 3 hatches, which are the yellow ones. And now maybe I get my ice bombs, which is easy enough. I knew the E-tanks would grow bat wings at some point. Now it's happening now.
But now it's happening now.
But at least I did get the real one. What's that flying in the background? I wonder if it'll be important. Uh-oh. What the heck is going on? I think there's an emergency in Sector 3. Let's see what Adam has to say about it. Looks like I have 6 minutes to get to the boiler room. I guess we need to boogie then. Finally made it. What the? Is that a person? Nope, it's just a Core X. And it's one of those with the eyeball that shoots when I shoot. But now we get the wide beam at least. And the cooling unit is back online, ending the countdown. Still crazy how that thing could look like a person. Now it's time to return to the main deck. Is that Ridley? Oh well, moving on. Hey look, animals. I think these are the same ones that were in Super Metroid. Let's free them. With that, Adam determines that no researchers have survived on the station, and now we need to find the power bombs. Should be fun. With power bombs acquired, it's time to yet again have a run-in with the SAX. But it's okay because she can't see through walls. Next, Adam tells us to return to our ship. However, the power dies while we're in the elevator. Hey, we're back at the Ridley Popsicle. What's this? Well, that can't be good. We finally make it back to the ship to find our animal buddies are safely on board. Too bad we can't leave yet. We've got more exploring to do. I found another boss door. This time it's a giant spider that sucks, and I hate it. After finally besting this annoying creature, we regain the space jump. And the auxiliary power is restored. But now we've got some yard work to do. The vegetation around here is getting out of hand and we have to find the source. But first, the Sax is back. And this time, it's our first for real encounter for real. I had to try this a couple times to finally get past her. She's pretty ruthless and unavoidable in this section. You literally fall down on top of her. But after finally losing her, I find myself at another boss door. Ah yes, the mother brain fight of this game. This is both one of the creepiest and most annoying fights in the whole game. You have very little ground to stand on. You're constantly getting hit from all angles, and when you do finally beat it, it turns into a beam core because it has the plasma beam. I recently learned there's like 1 pixel you can stand on that keeps the spores from hitting you, but I didn't know this at the time, so I had to beat it the hard way. When I finally did beat it, I cheered. And I gained the plasma beam. That's also nice. Once again, Adam is surprised by our progress and sends us to Sector 5. I can't help but feel like every time we do something Adam doesn't dictate himself, it sends him closer and closer to punishing us. Uh-oh. It seems as though it's finally time to face the nightmare. Oh my. It does look like Nightmare is running rampant on this sector. Uh-oh. Boss door. Must finally be time to face him. Dear God, what is that thing? So this is Nightmare. A very creepy pain in the anus to defeat. And just watch his face as you do more damage to him. He loves to change up his pattern and make it almost impossible to dodge him when he flies around. I think he took me longer to beat than any other boss in this game. You have to start off damaging his little reactor penis, then once that's properly castrated, pelt his ever-melting face with bombs. Eventually he'll go down with enough patience, which I ran out of a few times. But after about an hour, I finally beat him and regained the gravity suit. I do like the purple a bit more. Definitely fits better than the orange. Next we add diffusion to our missiles. I think I used this twice. Uh-oh. Adam doesn't seem to like us getting more upgrades without permission. But he sends us to Sector 6 anyway. Hey look, he's back. And this time, he's pissed. But after we beat him, we get the wave beam.
No entry without authorization.
Restricted area.
No entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization.
Are those Metroids? I thought that in the previous games all the Metroids were exterminated. It seems as though they're creating them in this lab, and I bet that's why things have been so weird here. This is what the researchers were working on. This is where the cure they gave Samus came from. Those sneaky sneaks. But it seems like I'm not the only one who's discovered this. The Sax is back, and they're attacking the Metroids.
60 seconds to
Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, get out of the way! Well, the booty just fell off the station, and with it the SAX. Neat. But Adam seems to be upset with our actions here. We shouldn't have done that? So the Federation has been secretly working on a Metroid breeding program. Certainly, you must have had doubts when you saw Sector 1, SRX, a faithful replica of SR388's ecosystem. Ideal for raising Alpha, Gamma, Zeta, and even Omega Metroids. This research even uncovered techniques for rapid growth. Imagine creating an Omega from a larval Metroid in days. But that research is finished. The X has smelled out its natural enemy, and one of the SAX is on its way here. More than one? This can't be good. Adam says there are no fewer than 10 of them on board the station. No, this is not good. Not good at all. Adam tells us to run, that we need to get back to HQ, ASAP, and PDQ. This all hits a little hard as we slowly ascend the elevator one more time. So much to take in. The Federation that we have trusted, that saved our life, is also doing some shady stuff behind the scenes. What now? What can we expect to be around the next corner? Ridley. Ridley's what's around the corner. The sounds he makes are ear-piercing. But defeating him grants us the screw attack. Now everything shall fall in our path. In the next navigation room, Adam tells us we're done and that we should leave the rest of the Federation. We're not having that. He tells us that the Federation has developed an interest in the X and our X clone in particular, believing they have endless potential, but we know how dangerous and heartless they truly are. If the Federation comes to the station now, they will be killed. Adam goes on to tell us, though, because the Federation knew we would destroy the SAX, they intentionally withheld upgrades and stopped sending data, out of fear that we would grow too powerful. But again, we know what will happen if the Federation comes here. As soon as the Federation ships land, the X will overwhelm them and absorb the knowledge and power of their occupants. The X are just waiting for the hunt to begin, and then they'll spread across the universe. Galactic civilization will end. The X hunger for form, knowledge, and power. They mimic these perfectly, but they cannot copy the soul. They're single-minded, instinctively seeking to increase in number. They're a plague, and the Federation underestimates their threat. The X must not leave here. I must destroy them all before the Federation arrives. This station has a self-destruct mechanism. I must use it to destroy the X here and on the planet. I must send them to oblivion. Them, the station, and myself if I have to. But Adam refuses to open the doors. He's been ordered to confine us here until the ships arrive. But we let it slip. We call him by the name we'd given him in our minds. And something in him finally clicks. So he asks what Adam would do. And of course, we tell him to do what is good for all of the galaxy. To destroy the station and the X along with it. For the sake of the universe. So Adam finally decides to help us with our final mission here. Let's set this ship ablaze. As the heroic music plays, we set our sights on the room in the upper corner of the station to start the self-destruct sequence. But as I enter this room, I know that I must finally face the dreaded SAX. But then it transforms into a new form. Ugh, that's gross. But it doesn't last long, and finally devolves into a Core X. That runs away once we defeat it. But at least we can finally activate the self-destruct. And we got 3 minutes to boogie out of here. But our ship is gone. and in its place the shell of a freshly hatched Metroid. An Omega, in fact. Ow! What's this? The SAX come and save us? But it was no use. I guess we'll have to absorb it finally. And we're back to our former glory. And with that thing finally defeated, and 30 seconds left on the clock, our ship comes to the rescue. And with that, the station descends into the planet, and we dildo off into the sky. As it turns out, the mind of our dear former CEO has been uploaded into the computer AI that we had been communicating with this whole time. It just took me reminding him of who he was for that to come out. But I fear that our actions, as heroic and necessary as they may be, may still yet be met with consequences. They will blame us. That is an outcome way better than the alternative. Adam reassures me that at least one will understand my actions and see the light. We can only hope. But as an added bonus, our animal friends are still safe and sound aboard the ship with us. Happy endings all around. With that, I want to conclude by saying, I do enjoy this game, and I decided to play it now for that very reason. Yes, this is by far the most linear of the main Metroid series, and that is completely intentional. There is nothing wrong with that. I look at this game with the perspective of the average player because that's what I am. I choose to experience the game first and foremost as it was intended. I'm not a speedrunner or a completionist. I just want to play and enjoy games. I do like to break games and exploit them from time to time, but for the most part, I just like to play through them as intended. So if that's what you're looking for in a game, this one is perfect. I apologize that it's taken me this long to get this video out. Playing the games is just a small part of the production of these videos. It's everything else that takes so long. That and life getting in the way of actually sitting down to make them. But stick with me, there are so many more games yet to come. Anyway, this is one more game to check off the list. And we've still got so many GBA games to play, so stick around. Subscribe if you haven't. Even though the videos may only hit once a month, I try to put out shorts 5 days a week, so there's always new content. So to finally close, I must say thank you so much for watching. And hey, at least this game was kind of spooky. Perfect to release in October. Let me know in the comments what you think of this game and what you'd like to see me play next. I will see you next time. Goodbye!